Hi everyone, so in this video I'm going to show you how to crochet this pretty baby top. So this top can be made in a number of different sizes, and for all of the information on how to make the different sizes, please see the description box below. So thank you very much for watching, and please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more crochet videos. So to begin your top, you want to start off by making a slip knot. So to do a slip knot, take your yarn and take your finger and wrap the yarn around your finger once and then twice. Then take the first loop and pull it over the second loop, and then take the second loop and pull it all the way over your finger. You then want to take your crochet hook, go in through this space and pull tight, and there you have a slip knot. And now once you have your slip knot, we are now going to make our foundation chain, and we are going to chain 65. So chain 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 65. So there I have finished making my foundation chain, and we're now ready to move on to round 1. So to begin round 1, we're going to start off by doing a double crochet into the second chain from the hook. So here is the first chain from the hook, and here is the second chain, and you want to yarn over and go down into this chain, the second chain from the hook. Yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the final 2 loops on your hook. So there we have 1 double crochet into that chain, and now you want to yarn over and go down into the next chain and do 1 double crochet into this one as well. So there we have 2 double crochets, 1 into each chain, and now into the next chain here we're going to do a corner, and throughout our top we are going to do lots of corners, and whenever we do a corner we're going to work the same set of stitches. We're going to do double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, all into the same chain or the same stitch. So yarn over and go into this next chain here and do double crochet, then chain 1 and 2, and then do a second double crochet back down into the same chain. So there we have our first corner into that chain, and now over the next 12 chains we're going to be working the first part of our first sleeve. So if you have a look at the finished top here, the sleeves are made up of this really pretty shell pattern. So we're on round 1 up here, we're actually on this side, we're on round 1, and we're going to begin working the first round of this sleeve over the next 12 chains. So to do that, you want to start off by skipping the next chain here, and then into the next chain we are going to do a V, and whenever we do a V we do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet all into the same chain. So yarn over, skip the next chain and do a V into the next one, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into this chain, and now you want to skip the next 2 chains. So skip 1 and 2, and then into this next chain here do another V. So yarn over, go into the chain and do a V, like that, and then skip 1 and 2 chains and yarn over and go into the next chain and do a V into this one as well. like that, and then skip 2 more chains and do a V into the next one. So like that, so that should be your 4th V, and now you want to skip the next chain, and there we have done the first part of our very first sleeve. So we have, if we go back over this round so far, we have 2 double crochets, then a corner into the next chain, and then we skipped 1 chain and did a V into the next chain. Then we skipped 2 more chains and did a V into the next. Then we skipped 2 more chains and did a V into the next one. Skipped 2 more chains and did a final V into this next chain here. So there should be 4 V's in total, and make sure that you're not counting your corner as a V. The corner is something completely different. So we have 4 V's, and then you want to skip this next chain. So we have done V and then skip the next chain, and there we have done the first part of our first sleeve. And now we are going to do a corner into the next chain. So just as we did before, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. So remember to skip the next chain here after that last V, and then yarn over, go into the next chain and do a corner. So double crochet, chain 1, chain 2, double crochet, like that. So there we have our next corner, and now we are going to do 18 double crochets, or 1 double crochet into each of the next 18 chains. So yarn over and go down into this next chain here. So go into the next chain and do 1 double crochet, and then do 1 into the next chain, and keep going until you have 18. So there I have finished working those 18 double crochets, and this is going to form the back of our top. And now we're going to move on, and into the next chain here we're going to do another corner. So double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, all into the next chain. Like that. And now we are going to begin working the other sleeve, so just as we did back here with the V's, and we're going to do the exact same thing as we did before. So we're going to be working over the next 12 chains for this next sleeve. So we're going to start off by skipping the next chain, so skip 1 chain, and then into the next one here, do a V. And remember, a V is just double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, like that. And now skip 1 and 2 and do a V into the next chain, like that. And now skip 1 and 2 chains and do a V into the next one, and then skip 2 more chains and do your 4th and final V, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And then to finish off this sleeve, skip the next chain. So there you should find that you have 4 V's. So we have our corner, skip 1 chain, V, skip 2 chains, V, skip 2, V, skip 2, V, and then skip the next chain. So we're skipping one last chain after the final V, and then into the next chain we're going to do a corner. So into this next chain here, make sure you're skipping this one, and then into the next chain do a corner, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, like that. And now to finish off this round, to finish off round 1, we're just going to do 1 double crochet into the rest of the chains, and you should find that that is 16 double crochets in total. So go down into this next chain and do 1, and keep going, doing 1 double crochet into every chain until you get to the end. So there I have finished working those double crochets, and we have come to the end of round 1. So that round can be a little bit complicated. It's definitely the most difficult round out of the entire top. So if you have a look at what we've done, we started off by doing 2 double crochets here, and this is going to form the start of this side of the front, and then we did our first sleeve. So this is the sleeve, and then the 18 double crochets at the back form the back of the top. Then we do the next sleeve, and then this set here of 16 double crochets is going to form this section, so the longer section along the front. And then in between all of those sections, in between the front, sleeve, sleeve and back, we have a corner. So now we are ready to move on to round 2. So to begin this round, you want to chain 1 and turn, and this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So chain 1 and turn, and we're going to start off by doing 2 double crochets down into this first stitch here. So yarn over and go down into the first stitch and do 1 double crochet, and then do 1 double crochet into the same stitch. So like that. And now you want to do 1 double crochet into each of the next 16 stitches. So we're doing 16 double crochets. So do 1 into the next stitch, and 1 into the next one, and then do a 3rd and a 4th, and keep going until you have 16. So there I have finished doing those 16 double crochets, and you should find that you have reached the middle of the first corner here, so the chain 2 space of the corner. And we're going to go down into this chain 2 space and do another corner. So we're going to do yarn over, go down into the corner, into the space, and do double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, all down into that space there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the next round of our first sleeve, so where we have these little V's, and we're just going to do 4 double crochets into each of those V's. So just do 4 double crochets into each V. So yarn over and go into this first V here and do 1 double crochet, and then a 2nd, and a 3rd, and a 4th, and we're going down into the chain 1 space of the V's. So there we have 1 set of 4 double crochets, and now move on to the next V, yarn over, go in the middle of it, so into the chain 1 space, and do 4 double crochets, like that, and then do the same thing into the next V. And then finally the last V here. So if you remember, we had 4 V's last round, so you should do 4 sets of 4 double crochets for this sleeve, like that. So we have done 4 double crochets into each of those 4 V's, and now you should find that you have reached the next corner, and just like before, we're going to go into the middle of this corner and do a corner. So we're going to do double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. So yarn over and go into the middle of this corner here, into the chain 2 space, and do a corner. Like that. And now we are moving on to the back of our top, and for round 2 of the back we are going to do 20 double crochets. So yarn over and go into this first double crochet here. So after the chain 2 space, go into the double crochet and do 1 double crochet, and then do 1 double crochet into the next stitch and 1 into the next, and keep doing that until you have 20. So there I have done those 20 double crochets, and you should find that that takes you to the next corner here, and just as we have done before, do a corner down into this chain 2 space. So like that. And now we are moving on to the next sleeve, and just as we did with the previous one, for this round of the sleeve, we're just going to do 4 double crochets into each V. So into this first V, the second one, the third one, and the fourth. Do 4 double crochets into each V, so into the chain 1 space. So like that. So there I have those 4 sets of 4 double crochets, and whenever we do those sets of 4 double crochets, we're creating our little shells, so the shells of the sleeve. And now we're going to move on to the next corner here, and we're going to do a corner into this stitch, so into the chain 2 space, do a corner like that. So we are just coming to the end of round 2, and you should find that you have 3 stitches left. So we have 1, 2 and 3 stitches, or 3 double crochets left. So we're going to yarn over and go into this next stitch and do 1 double crochet, and then over these next 2 stitches at the very end of the round, we're going to do a stitch called 2 double crochets together. And when we do 2 double crochets together, we are doing 2 double crochets, 1 into each stitch, but we are not going to complete either of them, and then we're going to complete them both together at the same time. So we're effectively turning 2 stitches into 1. So yarn over and go down into this first stitch here and start to work a double crochet, but stop here right before the last step. Usually we would yarn over and pull through these 2 loops at the end, but we're not going to do that. We're going to move on to the next double crochet. So yarn over and go into the last stitch here and start to work a second double crochet, but do not complete this one either. So there we have 2 incomplete double crochets, and you should have 3 loops on your hook, and you want to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So there we have done 2 double crochets together, and we have turned 2 stitches into 1. So there we have finished round 2. So this is what you should have. And by doing 2 double crochets into the first stitch on this side here, and then 2 double crochets together in the last stitch at the end, we are getting this kind of diagonal opening. So if you have a look at this top, our opening goes along the side, kind of diagonal, and by doing 2 double crochets on this side and then 2 double crochets together on this side, that is what creates that opening. And now we're ready to move on to round 3. So to begin round 3, you want to chain 1 and turn, and this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So we're going to start off this round by doing 2 double crochets together. So just as we did at the end of last round. So yarn over, go down into the first stitch and start to work a double crochet, but do not complete it. Yarn over, go into the next stitch and start to work a second double crochet, and then yarn over and complete them both at the same time. So there we have done 2 double crochets together to begin round 3. And now you want to do 1 double crochet into this next stitch here. So we're doing a double crochet into the next stitch. And now you should find you have reached the first corner, and we're going to do a corner down into this space. So yarn over, go into the chain 2 space and do double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. And now we have reached our first sleeve, and last round for the sleeve we did sets of 4 double crochets. And in this round we are going to do a V into each of these sets of 4 double crochets. But in this round our V's are going to be a little bit different. We are going to do double crochet, chain 3, double crochet for a V. So you want to go to your first set of 4 double crochets and go into the middle of this set, so in between the second and third double crochet. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and go in between the second and third one, yarn over, go into the space right in the middle and do double crochet, and then chain 3, and then do a double crochet back down into that space. So our V's in this round are double crochet, chain 3, double crochet, and now yarn over and go to the next set of 4 and go in between the second and third stitch and do a V with 3 chains, and now do that into the third set of 4, like that, and then into the fourth one. So there we have done the first sleeve for this round, and now we're going to move on to the next corner here, and we're going to do a corner into this space. So yarn over and go into the next corner here and go into this space and do double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, so a corner into the corner. And now we are onto the back of our top, and in this round we are going to do 22 double crochets for the back. So do 1 double crochet into the next stitch and 1 into the next, and keep going until you get 22. So there I have finished doing those 22 double crochets, and that should take you to the next corner. And we're going to go down into this corner space and do a corner, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. And now we're moving on to the next sleeve, and just as we did before, we're going to do double crochet, chain 3, double crochet into every set of 4 double crochets. So here, here, here and here, do double crochet, chain 3, double crochet into each set. So like that, so there we have worked along for this part of the sleeve, and now we are going to go into the next corner and do a corner. So do double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, like that. And now we are going to do 1 double crochet into each of the next 18 stitches. So 18 double crochets. So do 1 into the next stitch and 1 into the next, and keep going until you have 18. So there I have done those 18 double crochets, and you should find at the end of this round you have 1 last stitch to work into, and into this last stitch we're going to do 2 double crochets. So do 2 both into this last one at the end, and there we have finished round 3. So this is what we have at the end of round 3. It's starting to come together a lot more, and you can kind of see what's going on. This is the back, these are the 2 armholes or the 2 sleeves, and then this section with the longer section and then the smaller section will form the front. And now we're ready to move on to round 4. So chain 1 and turn to begin. And we are going to do 2 double crochets down into the first stitch. So down into this one here, do 2 double crochets. And now you want to do 1 double crochet into each of the next 20 stitches. So do 1 into the next and the next, and keep going until you get 20. So I have just finished doing those 20 double crochets. So we have 2 double crochets into the first stitch and then 1 into 20. And now we're going to do a corner into the next corner here. So it should have taken you right next to this corner, and do a corner into this space. Like that. And now we're moving on to the first sleeve, and we are going to do 6 double crochets into each V from last round. So last round we did these V's of double crochet, chain 3 double crochet, and we have 4 of them. And you want to do 6 double crochets into each of those V's. So yarn over, go into the first V here, into the first chain 3 space, and do 6 double crochets. So there we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then do that into this space this space and this one. So there should be 4 sets of 6 in total, and those 6 double crochets create the shells for this round. So there I have done those 4 sets of 6 double crochets, and you can see we are getting our really pretty shell pattern here with the little shells. And now we're going to do a corner into this next corner. So here we have our corner, go into the space and do double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. And now we are moving on to the back, so the nice straight back bit here, and we're going to do 24 double crochets for this round. So do 1 into the next stitch and 1 into the next. So just keep going until you have 24. So there I have 24 double crochets, and we have now reached the next corner, and just as we have done before, do a corner into the corner. Like that. And now we have reached the next part of the sleeve, so the next sleeve, and just as we did earlier in this round, we're going to do 6 double crochets into each of these 4 V's. So into each double crochet, chain 3, double crochet from last round. Okay, so there I have done that sleeve, and now we're going to go to the next corner here, and we're going to do a corner into this stitch or into this corner. And you should now find that you have 3 stitches left at the end of round 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, and just as we have done before, we're going to do a double crochet into the next stitch. And then over these last 2 stitches at the end, we're going to do 2 double crochets together. And there we have finished round 4, and we're ready to move on to round 5. So we are now on to round 5, and to begin this round you want to chain 1 and turn. And as usual, this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So we're going to start off this round by doing 2 double crochets together over the first 2 stitches. Like that. And then you want to do 1 double crochet into the next stitch. So 2 double crochets together and then 1 double crochet. And now we have reached the corner, and we're going to do a corner into this chain 2 space. Like that. And now we are on to the sleeve, so the first sleeve, and we are going to do a V in the middle of each set of 6 double crochets from last round. But in this round, the V's are a little bit different again. For a V, you want to do double crochet, chain 5, double crochet. So we're increasing the number of chains in each V again. So we're going to go to our first set of 6 double crochets here, and we're going to go in between the 3rd and 4th double crochet. So we have 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go in the middle, right in the space between the 3rd and 4th stitch, yarn over, go in between these stitches and do a double crochet, and then chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and do a second double crochet down into that same space. So there we have double crochet, chain 5, double crochet, and we have our first V, and we're going to do that 3 more times. So into this set of 6, this one and this one. So there I have those V's with the chain 5s, and now we're going to move on to the next corner and do a corner into this chain 2 space. Like that. And now we're moving on to the back of the top, and we're going to do 26 double crochets. So do 1 into this next stitch here, and 1 into the next, and keep going until you have 26. So there I have those 26 double crochets, and now we're going to do a corner into the next corner. So double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, and then we're going to do the next sleeve in the exact same way as we just did the other one. So into each set of 6 double crochets, 1, 2, 3 and 4 sets, we're going to do a V. And remember, for a V in this round, we do double crochet, chain 5, double crochet. So I have done those 4 V's, and now we're moving on to the next corner and do the same thing as we usually do in here. Do a corner into this corner stitch, and now we're going to do 22 double crochets, or 1 double crochet into each of the next 22 stitches. So work those 22 double crochets like I just have done there, and now we should have 1 stitch left at the end, and we're going to do 2 double crochets into this final stitch to finish round 5. Like that. And now we're on to round 6. So to begin this round, chain 1 and turn. And we're going to go down into this first stitch here and do 2 double crochets. So yarn over, go down into this stitch and do 2 double crochets, both into this one. Like that. And now we are going to do 24 double crochets, or 1 double crochet into each of the next 24 stitches. So do 1 into the next, 1 into the next, and keep going all the way along until you have 24. So there I have finished doing those 24 double crochets, and now we're going to go into the corner. So this should have taken you to the corner, and we're going to go into the chain 2 space and do a corner. So double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, and now we're moving on to the first sleeve. And in this round, we're going to do 7 double crochets into each V from last round. So into each of these 1, 2, 3 and 4 V's, we're going to do 7 double crochets, and that is going to create the shells for this round. So yarn over, go down into the first V and do 7 double crochets. So like that. So there I have 7 double crochets, 2, 4, 6, 7. And now we're going to yarn over and go straight into the next V here and do 7 more, and do that until you have those 4 sets. So there I have those 4 sets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that has created that part of the sleeve for this round. And now we're moving on to the next corner. So go into the corner here and do double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. And now we're moving on to the back, and for the back of this round we're going to do 28 double crochets. So go into the next stitch here and do 1 and keep going until you have 28. So I have finished those double crochets, and now we have reached the next corner, and do a corner into this stitch. And now we're going to do the same thing for this sleeve as the other one. We're going to do 7 double crochets into each V, and that should be 4 V's. So there I have done those 7 double crochets into each V, and now we have reached the next corner, and you want to do a corner into this stitch or into this chain 2 space. And now to finish off round 6, we're going to do 1 double crochet into this next stitch here. And then over these last 2 stitches at the very end, we are going to do 2 double crochets together. So do 2 double crochets together over the last 2 stitches at the end. So there we have finished round 6, and now we're moving on to round 7. So chain 1 and turn to begin round 7. And now we're going to do 2 double crochets together. So work that over the next 2 stitches. Like that. And now you want to do a double crochet into the next stitch. So we're starting off this round by doing 2 double crochets together and then double crochet, and now we have reached the first corner, and do a corner into the chain 2 space, like that. And now we are on to the first sleeve, and for this round we are going to do V's into the middle of the sets of 7 double crochets from last round. And in this round our V's are going to be a little bit different again. We are increasing the number of chains in the V's, so we are going to do double crochet, chain 6, double crochet for each V. So go to your first set of 7, and you want to go into the 4th double crochet. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and yarn over and go into this double crochet into the 4th one along, and we're going to do our V. So double crochet, chain 6, double crochet all into this stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then double crochet. So there we have a V into the first set of 7, and you want to do that 3 more times. So here, here and here. Double crochet, chain 6, double crochet. So there I have finished working those 4 V's, and now we're going to do a corner into this next corner stitch here. So just as we have done before, into the corner, do a corner, and then you want to move on and do the back for round 7. And for the back of round 7, we're going to do 30 double crochets. So do corner and then 30 double crochets. And then you should reach the next corner here, and you want to do a corner into that stitch or into that chain 2 space, and then we will reach the next sleeve and do the exact same thing for this one. You want to do 4 V's in the middle of the sets of 7 double crochets, and your V's for this round are double crochet, chain 6, double crochet. So just work that corner, 30 double crochets, corner, and then your 4 V's for the next part of round 7. So there I did those 30 double crochets for the back, then the corner, and then the part for the sleeve. And now we're going to do a corner into this next corner here. Double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. And now you want to work 26 double crochets, and that should take you to 1 double crochet from the end. So work 26 double crochets. So we're going to yarn over and go down into this next stitch here and do a double crochet and do 1 into the next, and keep going until you have 26. So there I have finished working those double crochets, and like I said, you should have 1 left at the end here, and we're going to finish off by doing 2 double crochets into this final stitch. So there we have 1 and then a second one. So there we have come to the end of round 7, and now we're moving on to round 8. So to begin this round, chain 1 and turn, and this does not count as a stitch. So we're now going to go down into this first stitch here and do 2 double crochets, both into this one. And now you want to do 28 double crochets, so 28. So there I have those 28 double crochets, and now we are moving on to the next corner here. So that should have taken you to the first corner of the round, and as usual do a corner into the stitch. So double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. And now we are moving on to the first sleeve, and for this round of the sleeves we're just going to do 8 double crochets into each V from last round. So into here, here, here and here, just do 8 double crochets. So yarn over, go down into the first V and do 1 and 2, and keep going until you have 8. Like that. And now yarn over and go into the next V here and do 8 into this one, and just do that until you've done the sleeve. So there I have done 8 double crochets into each V, and now for the next part of round 8 we're going to do a corner into this next corner here, and then you want to do 32 double crochets for the back, so 32 double crochets along this straight section, and then do a corner into the next corner stitch here, and then for the next sleeve do the same thing as we just did, 8 double crochets into here, here, here and here into each V. So we're doing corner, 32 double crochets, corner and then 8 double crochets in each V for the next part of round 8. Okay, so there I have finished doing those stitches, and now we're coming to the end of round 8. So we're going to do a corner into this last corner, and then we have 3 stitches left, and we're going to do a double crochet into this next one. And then we're going to work 2 double crochets together over these last 2 stitches. So there we have finished round 8, and we're moving on to round 9. So chain 1 and turn, and we're going to start off by doing 2 double crochets together. And then do a double crochet into the next stitch, like that. And now we've reached the first corner, and do a corner into this stitch. And now we are on to the first sleeve, and in this round we're going to be working V's again. But our V's are going to be a little bit different in this round as well. We're going to be increasing the chain number in each V. So we're going to do double crochet, chain 7, double crochet for each V. So you want to go into the middle of this first set of 8, so in between the 4th and 5th double crochet. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yarn over and go after this 4th stitch and before the 5th one, so in the space in the middle, and we're going to do double crochet, so double crochet and then chain 7, and then do a double crochet back down into the same space. So there we have a V into the first set of 8, and we're going to do that 3 more times and chain 7 for each V. Okay, so like that, so I have finished doing those V's, and now we're going to move on to the next part of this round. So you want to do a corner into this corner stitch here, and then for the back we are going to do 34 double crochets, so 34 along here, and then do a corner into the next corner stitch, and then for the next sleeve do the same thing. Do a V into the middle of each set of 8, so in between the 4th and 5th double crochet, and when you do a V we do double crochet, chain 7, double crochet. So there I have finished working those stitches, and now we're going to do a corner like that. And then to finish off round 9 we need to do 30 double crochets, so we're going to do 1 double crochet into each of the next 30 stitches, and then that should take us to 1 stitch from the end, and then into that very last stitch you want to do 2 double crochets. So we're doing 30 double crochets and then 2 into the last one at the end of the round. So I have come to the end of round 9 and I've done these 2 double crochets into the last stitch at the end, and now we're moving on to round 10. So to begin this round you want to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to go down into this first stitch here and do 2 double crochets both into this one. So 1 and then 2. And now you want to do 32 double crochets, or 1 double crochet into each of the next 32 stitches. So I'm going to do 1 into the next and 1 into the next, and keep going until you have that number. So there I have those 32 double crochets, and now I'm going to do my first corner of double crochet, chain 2 double crochet, and now we're moving on to our first sleeve, and this is the last round of the sleeves. So this is the last round that we are going to be working anything of the sleeve, and we're going to finish off by doing these pretty little shells at the end. So into each V, so here, here, here and here, we are going to work a shell. And to do a shell, we're going to do 5 double crochets with chains in between them. So yarn over and go into the first V and do a double crochet. So there we have 1 double crochet, and now chain 1 and then do a second double crochet and chain 1 and then a third and chain 1, then a fourth, chain 1 and then a fifth, like that. And there we have done our first shell. So we have 5 double crochets into the V with chain 1s in between them. So now we're going to do the same thing into this next V. Yarn over, go into the V and do 1, chain 1, 2, chain 1, 3, chain 1, 4, chain 1 and 5. So there we have 5 double crochets with chains for the next shell, and just do that 2 more times. So there I have done all of those shells. So I finished off by doing the last double crochet into this last V at the end. And now we're going to do our next corner into the corner here. Like that. And now we're moving on to the back, and we're going to do 36 double crochets for the back. So 36 all the way along here. And then we're going to do the corner into the next corner. And then for this sleeve, do the same thing. You want to do your shells into each V. So that's 5 double crochets with chains in between them. So we're doing 36 double crochets, corner and then your shells. So there I have worked all of those stitches for round 10, and now to finish off this round, go into the last corner and do a corner. And then do a double crochet into the next stitch, and then 2 double crochets together over the last 2 stitches. So like that. So there we have 2 double crochets together at the end to finish, and there we have finished round 10, and we're moving on to round 11. So round 11 is a really important round as we're going to be taking our long strip which we have here and turning it into our top shape. So we're going to be adding in a front, a back and 2 armholes or 2 sleeves. So you want to start off by chaining 1 and turning. So chain 1 and turn. And we're going to do 2 double crochets together. Like that, and then do 1 double crochet into the next stitch here. And now we have reached our first corner, and we are going to go into this corner, so into the double crochet, chain 2 double crochet, and we're going to do a double crochet. So yarn over, go into the corner and do 1 double crochet. And now you want to chain 2, so chain 1 and 2. And now we're going to skip all of these stitches. So we're going to skip the sleeve part here and go to the next corner after the sleeve. So we have done double crochet, chain 2 into that first corner. And now we're going to skip all of these stitches until we get to the next corner here. And we're going to go into this corner and do a double crochet. So yarn over and go into the next corner here. So skip all of these stitches for the sleeve and go into the next corner. So yarn over, go into the corner and do 1 double crochet like that. And there we have created the first little armhole like that. And if you wanted more space in this armhole, instead of chaining 2, you could chain 3 or 4 or maybe even 5 if you wanted. But I think chaining 2 gives us the right size armhole for the size of the top. But if you did want more space, then just add more chains in the middle here. And now we are moving on to the back of our top. And we are going to do 38 double crochets. So yarn over and go into the first double crochet here and do 1 double crochet and then do 1 into the next stitch and keep going until you have 38. So there I have finished doing those 38 double crochets for the back, and now we're going to move on and make the next armhole. And for this one we're going to do the same thing as we just did. So do 1 double crochet into the next corner here, so into this corner, yarn over, go into the space and do a double crochet, and now chain 1 and 2. And if you chained more for the other armhole, make sure you do the same number here and then skip all of these stitches until you get to the next corner on this side and yarn over and go into this corner, into the double crochet, chain 2 double crochet and do a nice neat double crochet like that. And there we have made the second armhole. So we get these cute little armholes with these really pretty shell stitch sleeves on the top. So all of that hard work trying to get the sleeves right with the shell stitch, it definitely pays off when you have these cute sleeves. And now we're going to do 1 double crochet into each of the next 34 stitches. So we're doing 34 double crochets. So yarn over and go into the next stitch here and do 1 double crochet and then do 1 into the next and do this 34 times. So there I have those 34 double crochets, and now to finish off this round we're going to do 2 double crochets into the last stitch at the end. So do 2 into this last one And now before we move on to round 12, we are going to join our work. So if you have a look at our work, this is what we have so far. So we have added in the shape in round 11. So this is the back, and then the front looks like this. We have this long section of the front, and then the smaller section, and this is where our buttons are going to lie, and this is the opening. And from now on, our top is going to be joined. So we need to join now with a slip stitch at the end of round 11. So you want to take your work where you just finished off and then go over to the opposite side, this tiny section here, and go into the first stitch of round 11, so the round that we just did, and that was our first set of 2 double crochets together here. And you want to insert your hook into this stitch and work a slip stitch. So yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. So there we have finished round 11 and we have joined, and now we're moving on to round 12, and the rest of the rounds from now on are really easy. So to begin round 12, chain 1 and turn, and we're just going to do 1 double crochet into every single stitch around. So yarn over and go down into this first stitch here and do a double crochet, and then do 1 into the next stitch and 1 into the next, and keep doing this all the way around. And when you get to the armholes, you want to do double crochets into these chains. So I chained 2, so I'll just be doing a double crochet into each of those 2 chains. But if you chained 3 or 4 or so on, make sure that you're doing a double crochet into every chain that you did. So I have just finished working that all the way around for round 12, and at the end of this round you should have 84 double crochets. And if you chained more for the arms, for the armholes, then you will need to add those extra chains to that final number. So if you chained 3 for each armhole instead of 2, then you would now have 86 double crochets around instead of 84. But if you chain 2 like I did, then you should have 84 double crochets. And now to finish off this round, you want to do a slip stitch into the first double crochet that you worked. So there we have finished round 12, and this is what we have. So we have our little top with the side opening here, and now we're moving on to round 13. So for the rest of the length of our top, we are just going to repeat round 12 again and again and again. So if you have a look at my finished top here, all of these rounds are just repeats of round 12. So here we have round 12, and I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 repeats of round 12. But you could do as many as you like. You could do 11, 12, 13, 14, depending on how long you want your top to be and what size you are making. So just keep repeating that round. So chain 1 and turn, and then do 1 double crochet into every single stitch and finish off with a slip stitch into the first stitch of the round. And you should have the same number of double crochets in each round that you do. And if you want, what you can do after a few rounds, if you don't want this little seam, which you can hardly see, to be on the front of your work, after say 2 or 3 rounds, fasten off, so pull your yarn out and your hook and cut your yarn, and then reattach it somewhere in the back of your work, and then just carry on doing those repeats. And that way the seam, so if you have a look, you can hardly see it, so you probably won't want to do this, but the seam, so you can see this really tiny seam, will be in the back. So that is what I did, just to make it a little bit neater, but of course you don't have to do that at all. So just keep repeating those rounds, and then once you have finished the length of your top, you want to go ahead and finish off this opening here. So what you want to do is attach your buttons to this small side here, and I did 4 buttons. So I attached one at the top, and then I did 2 rounds. I left 2 rounds empty, and then attached a second one, then left 2 rounds and attached a third one, and then left 2 more rounds, and then attached a 4th one. So I did 4 buttons with 2 rounds in between each one, and attach it to this side, and then I added a little border here using half double crochet, and this created my buttonhole. And what I did is I attached my yarn into the very bottom of this side of the opening, and then I worked half double crochets until I met the button, so until I got to the side on the opposite side of the button, and then I chained 1 and skipped the next stitch, and then did more half double crochets until I reached the part which was in line with the next button, and then I chained 1 and skipped the next stitch, and then I did more half double crochets until I got in line with the next button, and then chained 1 and skipped the next stitch, and I did that all the way up this side, and there I had my 4 button loops or buttonholes, and then to finish it off I chained 1 and turned, and then just worked half double crochets back down. So I did half double crochets into each stitch back down, and that created my little border here for my buttonholes. And then you want to make sure that all of your ends are nice and securely weaved into the inside, and as this is a baby top, you need to make sure that these buttons are really secure. And we have finished. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it easy to follow. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more crochet videos. And in the description box below this video, I will leave a link to where you can find the written pattern. So I think the written pattern is especially useful for this top, as it can be quite complicated in places. It's good to have a written pattern to look at as well. And in the description box, I will also leave a link to where you can find my Twitter and Instagram accounts. So I always like to post updates and pictures on there, and I would love to see photos of your crochet work on Twitter and Instagram as well. And thank you again for watching. Bye.